to be playing that initiator. We've got Necromancy on his Charnock, something I've seen quite a few times. CLF Makani on that Trip. Boomet Zeus on Taito, and War Priest on that HK. All these guys are on like signature characters.
And on Hammer's Esports, we have Reveling on the Margrave, Kata on Wu, Not Quite Magic on Badasi, Chunky on HK, and Zalvatis on Charnock.
He is not. Oh,
It looks like
Sinister did not make it, which is interesting. Which is interesting because I thought he was the captain. But yeah, it looks like they will have a.
I believe they made Chunky the co-captain.
Opting not to summon on B, probably going to let Necro take care of that. FB going to circle around, help summon at A, make sure they get that first power orb. Because that is a really important thing on this map, is getting that first power orb done, like getting all the power orbs in sequence, in time, making sure you're ready for that D fight.
So this is actually really interesting. I was telling you about some competitive comps that you will see on Ghost Reef. It looks like Team Vortex actually opted not to go for one of those. They actually went for a double assassin comp to try and get just as much pokes as possible. You would see Hammer's Esports. They are running what's normally seen in a competitive environment when it comes to team comps. They want to try and get the pokes down. They want to win that poke war. Whereas Team Vortex, they want pick potential. They want to brawl. They want to fight. And because of Hammer's Esports team comp, they might not actually be able to get that fight and go for comps. Looks like two people, Taito and Trip, on their Charnock had to push him away.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of pressure out of Vortex with like all of their characters are very high pressure. Taito and Trip being able to kind of invade that backline.
War Priest getting caught by the Woo right there.
But that's a 2-man Margrave stun, but that's going to be War Priest down for first blood, and that's going to be a 40 to 50 power advantage. Only 10, but it does make this next fight a little more difficult. Looks like Trip's going to be on that Woo, and FB unfortunately misses that Margrave leap.
Does flank behind him. It's just going to back out.
And, yeah, they're just going to reset.
We can go ahead and take this time while it's passive right now to talk a little bit about War Priest. It's actually a female, by the way. I heard you say that he.
Oh.
But yeah, War Priest. Yeah, War Priest is a female, but they're going to try and get that D fight right now.
Yeah, Hammers has the positional advantage here, and Margrave leaps up, and it's just a man fight right here.
Yeah, getting the smackdowns.
Nothing quite like a Margrave on Margrave fight.
Exactly.
Especially
looks like Hammer's trying to get that 3-man stun.
Oh, but that's
trying to block as much damage. He has got to go down.
And this is really pixelated for me. How about you?
It could be on Matt Lynn's.
Yeah, I think it is on his end.
Yeah, it's best quality we can give, but yeah, looking at it, I was going to talk a little bit about War Priest. She's a really good player, but I've never seen her in a team environment. So I'm actually really interested on how she plays, and it looks like she's only gotten one kill, unfortunately.
Yeah, but she does.
Or she's only died once.
She does have that focus ready to go. All right, it looks like they are able to take. They took the E because D had just been sitting around for too long, and orbs don't wait for other orbs to be taken.
Plus the bloomers.
Yeah,
the bloomers bugged, unfortunately.
Oh.
Motiga, please.
Yeah, Motiga, please. Yeah, that's one of the problems of being in open beta is that you're gonna have to suffer through some bugs like this, and it can.
All 5 of them getting ready to line up for that fight. Margrave going in first, going to take that aggro.
This should be an easy wound if there's a commit, but there's not much of a commit coming from Hammers. But they are
gonna get
it. Yeah, they did get it. They only needed to commit a couple of people to it. That's how low they got it. And that's how high the damage was. And it looks like this is going to be a reset again.
This is the problem that I was going to say about Vortex's team comp right now. If you're not running a poke comp, it's going to be really difficult for you to get those first wounds off, as well as in Clash, because Margrave is going to try and focus on the melee since he's the tankiest one. But at the same time, you have really not an answer for You actually freaked me out there for a second.
Sorry.
But
Popping up chat so I can read
they
it.
don't. Yeah, they don't really have an answer to their range
War
DPS.
Priest gets pulled, but it doesn't look like there's going to be much of a follow-up, and that is another unfortunate mislead from FB. He's not been quite on point with these. Oh, that is a big Charnock focus that hits actually nobody. It might have hit one, and it doesn't really do much of anything. So
Still got a little bit of burn damage nonetheless.
But that's War Priest
Looks like
going
War
down
Priest.
again. War Priest getting caught out of position quite a bit here. Hammer's able to group up. They, like we said, they are this aggressive team. Like they also like to be in your face.
The kind of comp that they're running right now, I feel like what would benefit them a lot better is rather than trying to force fights like they're trying to right now and force picks, they need to rotate over to the other objectives that are not summoned yet, or that are baby summons right now. Really good stun from.
Oh man, this is the fight. That's the fight that they needed right there. They got one pick, and they even up the power. And actually, it looks like they are ahead by 20. So they will, if they can take D or get one more kill, and it looks like Taito's going to be going on that D point.
Trying to keep it open so they can be able to take that down real quick. Margrave
too
low to go in, so he just hangs back and watches it.
If they can secure that, that's going to be a push. That's likely going to be a wound because of HK and Charnock's huge damage. Trip and Taito can keep the enemy occupied. They can just keep them off. Missed tongue from Keita there. Keita's still going in, just being a frog.
Getting a little bit of poke, trying to get as much poke damage as possible. Margrave tried to pressure.
Woo, man.
I know that feel, man.
Yeah, what are you, like a rank 10.5 Woo? Or like a rank 15 or some crap?
13.
13? Yeah,
Too much time on
really
Woo.
Feels Woo, man, for you.
Exactly.
Looks like
this is really risky. C is getting upgraded. If they group up, okay, there it is.
Yeah, no,
they need to get away from the bloomer because that's how the bug happens. Really good stun. Trying to go in. They're trying to interrupt that.
Margrave will just charge out. Oh,
he doesn't have a focus.
That is the rampage. That is interesting.
They got enough damage to keep the bloomer away from being able to get damage onto, or they were able to pressure the bloomer to not cap that.
If you do put enough damage onto it, it does not capture. You can also stun it out of it, and any kind of hard CC will stop it from capturing, and that's what led to this. Was that distraction in that hard CC.
This is a full shield on Team Vortex, so they're not going to be able to get that much damage on, or not any damage at all onto their shield.
Really, this might just be a wash. You see Vortex kind of hovering around any entry points that Hammers might have into the Guardian area. Yeah, and they can't even go for it.
You could see the issues that they're having right now. Team Vortex having with their team comp, it's not working out for them because they can't force the fights. They can't poke because Vidasi can just simply heal up whatever damage they have. Their better opportunity is to either interrupt all their orb creature summons or rotate over and not get caught like that. Yeah, War Priest going down once again.
Focus. Yeah, War Priest's been out of position, and then that's also Charnock going down. That's a 3v5, and it looks like they're going to aggress on D. And since it's a Winter Bloomer, they're not really going to be able to do much to defend it. FB's gonna go down here, almost guaranteed. He's still alive, still sustaining somehow, and then there he goes, down to not quite magic on that Vidasi, while Trip is backcapping that Bloomer on E, trying to make something out of this.
Yeah, trying to get a little bit more shield. They're just going to back out. They're not going to try and risk anything else going for that G orb or G creature.
The push definitely in favor of Hammers by a good bit. So if you'll notice, one of the big problems that
War Priest getting caught once again.
Yeah, War Priest. Hammers is doing a really good job of targeting out this new player on this team, sub or new main roster. I'm not sure. But this new player on this team and just kind of getting her when she's out of position, grabbing her with that woo, focusing, maybe not literally focusing, but being able to focus on her and just take her out, making every fight basically a 4v5.
another free push. Hammers, they might try and go for this wound, but it looks like they're going to try and just keep them busy right there. They might be starting to rotate right now, actually, as soon as I
It
say
looks
something.
like it doesn't look like Hammers is going to go for the wound. They're just going to take the damage. They're going to try and pick off
Unfortunately,
FB, but
Matlin getting picked right there. Has to
yeah,
use the stun to get out, but it's still not going to be enough.
yeah, he's
Matlin
getting
could go down right now,
he
and
goes
there
down
he
to
goes.
4 members of Hammers, and there was nothing anyone could do about that. Like, he just got controlled. He had to use his jump to escape, and then Wu is just so hard to get away from. He can just stick on you like glue.
Yeah, really unfortunate turn of events, but they're opting to go for B, just trying to get it low so they can get another free push. They got it about half health.
Oh, and that was a
They're getting
nice
the fights
trip
right now.
focus onto that HK, and this
Got the
actually,
cripple on the Margrave.
this is a good turn.
Margrave could go down right here.
It doesn't
Kind of hurt. Way
oh,
too pixely.
He is yeah. A lot of stuff going on. Hard to tell exactly what it is, but it looks like Margrave does go down. That was actually a really good fight in favor of Vortex, and it doesn't look like they're going to look for much after it. They're just going to take the power advantage and just, live with that.
Yeah, this is what Vortex. This is the kind of comp that they want. That they want to try and do. They're going to try and play that same poke comp, but it's really going to be really risky because they have two deep. They have two DPM. They have 2 range DPS versus 2 range DPS and a support.
Yeah,
So
running a poke comp against a Vidasi is not the best idea unless you're going to poke out that Vidasi, because it does take orbs to really be effective, and the orbs do drain her health if you can get her low enough and put her in a dangerous position. And it looks like this fight is going to be kind of stalled out for a second. Yeah, they're just going to kind of skirt around the HKs, laying in shots wherever they can, throwing mortars. And looks like there's still that 20 power advantage, 60-40 in favor.
Looks like they're getting ready to push over to E.
Yeah, you can see FB kind of positioning around, trying to get a nice jump, get a nice pick. Looks like they're just going to go for D.
They wanted to secure that to be able to get the D power orb.
Yeah. You watch Hammer's Margrave jumps up there, and then he's still aggressing.
There's the fight going on right now.
This is huge. Oh my gosh! Focus into focus. That is so big. Can they take out? Oh, it looks like someone Taito on Vortex.
Taito was unfortunately died right there.
This fight actually turning out very poorly for. That was such a good set of focuses.
They're getting really scattered right here in these fights, and that's not what they need to be doing. Matlin's going to go down here, unfortunately.
Yeah,
this is whatever lead that they had right there.
They just gave it up.
Yeah. They're going to be able to take out C. This is going to guarantee their push.
And I'd be surprised if they didn't go for it, if they didn't just send, Charnock or Wu or someone who can get away somewhat easily to take out the wound, or they're going to position around B just like they did before. It looks like you got one person, a couple people creeping around the middle area.
They're all going to try and get ready to go for this. They see that. They see that they got that they're seen. Yeah, where it looks like we're getting a little bit of frame lag.
That's where that Cerberus really comes in handy, is granting vision. And it looks like HK is they're stacking up as 3. They're going to take this, and that's going to be the clash. It is poor Team Vortex. They do pick off the HK, and they're going to get the Margrave. So they do get that 20 power advantage. Let's see if they can actually keep it this time.
Yeah. It's could be really risky because they just don't want to fight at this point. Or if they do, well, they can't really fight right now, but they're still going to do it anyway.
Yeah, it looks like...
Matlin's going really aggressive on that Charnock. No follow-up on the team, though.
They pick up 4 in that trade, so it is a 40 power advantage, 8 seconds on the respawn, and there's not really much that Hammers can do. This is going to be a 60 power advantage and an empty E point.
That's a really good point. Really good job for Team Vortex. I actually didn't see what was going on and saw at the last second that those 4 people died. It's actually really good. This is 80-20 lead. They should go for this wound instantly.
There's basically no way that they can lose this lead now, because they just have to get that B power orb, and they'll get the instant push. It'll be 140. That's a huge chunk of damage, and it looks like Hammers is trying to even it up a little bit. Taito sticking on that Vidasi, gonna get spotted out.
Now
And
looking at
Vidasi's got the crew to protect her, but that's
and there it is.
140. That is
This
almost
is
an
almost
entire wound.
Yep, just an entire wound on itself. That shows how much clash damage can be done from a Guardian, just a matter of shields. While this is going on right now, I've realized that Vortex's clash damage could be really strong.
Yeah, Vortex does have a really good clash comp. It's interesting how things can kind of turn around there, and that's the wound. Margrave has come online finally. HK's come online. Taito and Trip are both online, and Charnock is online. Like all of Vortex is online, and they have a lot of damage.
It's looking about that way, and they got that easy. If they have an opportunity for a comeback right now, this would be their time. Looks like they're just playing them.
Yeah, there's a poke war going on, and it's not really going to amount to much. But you see,
it looks like their two assassins are getting ready to rotate over to E. It looks like they got caught, so they're running back right now.
I think they might have just been trying to distract to get the pressure off of C, because you had a couple people grouping up around C. You could have maybe seen a fight over there if more of the team had rotated, but the two assassins just getting some pressure off of that obelisk.
Yeah, they're just gonna try and wait it out. It's also E point is a baby creature, so it could be really easy for Taito and Trip to just easily take that out. But
yeah. I imagine
unfortunately,
they would have someone on it most of the time.
Yeah.
They've got HK just kind of chilling over there doing his thing.
That's usually what happens, and that's one of the basic team comps you usually see on Ghost Reef for competitive play. Just everybody sitting on each side of their points between C and E, and just popping shots at each other. And then once D orb spawns, it's just an all-out brawl.
Yeah.
Looks like Taito's going a long way trying to get a hold of somebody.
Going for that G point, but he's spotted out because it's a Cerberus. He was spotted out way before and just isn't really able to make much of that travel time. It looks like as long as someone's around to collect C, although, aggression onto the B point from HK and Margrave. And
he's the only one there. There's only 3 people.
Then that's a Margrave focus that is not going to save this Bloomer.
Doesn't really do much. This is going to
get... Where was Vortex in that? Like, they needed to be rotating back to B to at least pick off 1 or 2 of them, try and even up that power trade.
That's unfortunate that the days right there had to stop Margrave's stun. Yeah, that was really iffy on Vortex. That was definitely a misplay because they should have, as soon as they saw someone attacking it, they all should have rotated. They could have easily gotten picks. Madeline himself got them really low, but wasn't able to do much on his own. Luckily, he didn't die for it, but still, it was still a misplay on that half.
He's also playing a relatively low damage Margrave. He does have the extra damage on the leap, but he did not opt for that, for the Doom Fist tree, so that kind of, it lowers his damage, but it increases his utility by being able to use that counter to weaken someone. Although
here's the fights that they trying to get a fight. It looks like someone got picked out.
Kate is just gonna run around, and yeah, it looks like
it was necromancy.
Charnock is just gonna get picked off. I'm not really sure how, because it must have just been a Margrave stun, I would assume.
Yep, this is another free push. With the comp that they have right now and how they set up the first wound of the game, this could be the end for Vortex, and Hammers might actually take this win.
Yeah.
They need to actually have the right kind of focus, be able to take out their... it's really hard for them to be able to.
They're creative. Everyone's up on the side of Vortex. If they can get proper
focuses. He stuns the Vidasi,
but he's not stunning any of the DPS. Is the problem.
Yeah, unfortunately,
that is much. He's just distracting, and that's the end of the game.
Yep, that one goes down really fast.
Yeah, that was an HK and a Charnock just being able to be on that 100%, and I'm gonna chalk that up to not excellent communication from them. You saw them kind of split up. War Priest was out of position a number of times, got picked. It's easy to get picked on that HK by a Wu because you don't have a ton of mobility. You really just have your sprint. You don't have any movement abilities. So Wu, you were an easy target for Wu. and she just got picked a bunch. They weren't really able to execute their strategy, and I think their communication kind of fell apart towards the end, especially with that aggression from Hammers onto that B point, just having
Yeah.
no response.
Yeah,